Hello there YouTube, Kenny here, also known as SilentFan85. As you can see, I've shaved. But I wanted to do a gamer log, talking about something that's been popping up from time to time, mainly having to do with World of Warcraft. I have made more than a few videos talking about this content, and there's a lot of hate, especially, again, mainly talking about World of Warcraft here, and just people saying it's the game's being destroyed, the game's yada yada. With Legion coming out, there's a lot of people that are up in arms because classes are being changed, things are being changed in the game, and I wanted to put in my 2 cents on this. And my 2 cents is pretty neutral. Because number one, I'm one of those players, most of the time, that are just kind of cool. I like the changes. You know, it looks good. Or, well, I mean, I'm not a fan of the changes, but, you know, it happens. You know, I've never been one of the ones that's just like, oh, that's, you know, that's changing, I quit. It's game over, man, game over. I'm done. This is such bullshit. I don't get why they can't keep things the same. And the problem is that if things stayed the same, the game would get stale. The game would get boring. And unfortunately, that's most of the market today, because things change so quickly, you know, and that's just the world we live in. Things are constantly going, constantly changing. And it's going to continue like that for generations until we get to a point in society to where we were 30, 40 years ago, to where technology doesn't change. And that's the biggest factor in all of this. And I'm kind of getting skewed from the whole World of Warcraft discussion, but things change with time. They develop better, for the better or for the worse. It's really all about perspective. Going back to World of Warcraft, they're changing a lot of the character classes. They're changing the names of specializations. They're giving each class their own hub for the most part, and they're just making all these changes, and people are just so up in arms about it. And again, I understand why it is, but at the same time, it's gonna happen. And I'm not one of the ones that's gonna quit Warcraft because of something like that. If I quit playing a game, it's mainly probably because I've just gone away from it momentarily. I want to do something else for a bit, and then I'll come back to it. And that's what it's been with me and World of Warcraft. It's pretty much for the most part, become a part of me. Now, I don't think so much so that, like, if for some reason the Blizzard servers were just totally shut down, they were gone, you know, there were no more. It would suck, sure, but there are other things I could do with my time. And, you know, actually, looking at it from that perspective, it wouldn't be a bad thing. But, at the same time, I'll never understand why people get so upset about it. For example, in World of Warcraft, hunters. Hunters are a major part of the reason why I joined World of Warcraft. Because I loved what you could do with them. And again, this is something I mentioned time and time again. They used to have the ability to feed their pets, and feeding the pets provided into the pet's damage. If you didn't feed the pet enough, its damage would go down. If you fed it just enough, its damage would go up. You couldn't overfeed either. But if you didn't feed it at all, it would eventually turn on you and try to kill you. It was really, really funny to me. And also, they also had an ability called Eyes of the Beast, where you could take over your beast, and walk around. If you had a cat, you could stealth through stuff. And it was just one of the coolest skills, and it's part of the reason why I joined World of Warcraft. Well, with time, just like everything else, those went away. And yes, I was disappointed with it. But I say that because there are people that, with Legion changes coming up, they're very unhappy, and they think it's a game breaker for them. But truth be told, if the game stayed the way it is, can people honestly say that they would still be playing the game if these changes were not put in, or if stuff was not taken away and changed up to make you rethink about your character, to make you relearn it? Would you still be playing? Would you still be paying that $14.95 a month, or what used to be $9.95 a month? To me, again, I just see it getting stale. I see it getting boring. And Blizzard, with a little help from, begrudgingly, Activision, is working a new formula for it. There was a time to when they did stick to their main guns, and the core function of the game didn't change. They didn't have race changes. They didn't have faction changes. Nothing like that. But with time, it would eventually happen. And I'm fairly sure Blizzard knew that starting it up. Because when you implement a game, you have a solid game. But over time, you're going to look at what people that are starting the game, newer players as compared to the old, you're going to want to meet that demand. You're going to want to listen to your player base. And that's what Blizzard's done, in my opinion. Now, I'm not on the pulse of the game like it used to be. I'm not entirely sure what people are demanding out of the game. But it seems like the changes they're making are stuff that people are overwhelmingly asking for, whether they want to admit it or not. But again, that's just my opinion. I could be wrong. I could be totally wrong. But again, going back to it, if a game doesn't change, it'll always be the same. Leave it to console games to stay like that. But when it comes to MMOs, especially one that you're paying for each month, especially if it's that game's lifeblood of that monthly fee of keeping the company afloat, they're going to do things to shake it up. They're going to do things to make it more interesting. And I think that's what it really comes down to. Some people are going to like it. Some people are going to hate it. Some people like me are going to, well, okay, that's cool. I'm not the biggest fan of that, but I'm still going to play. So I think really, honestly, I can understand the passion for a game. I can understand being very, 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 very dedicated to a game. But to get up in arms and just totally drop what you think is one of the funnest times of your life, what is one of the coolest things of your life that you divided a whole lot of time to, just because a few things may be changing, find something else to do. Find another class. Find another job. So that's just the way I see it. But again, I'm one of those guys that, even though I'm a hardcore gamer, I kind of think of myself as a hardcore casual gamer. That may not make any sense to anybody, but pretty crazy. Anyway, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment. I just felt I wanted to make a gamer vlog on this and just say how much I am looking forward to Legion. Whatever changes may come. I will say, I'm not the biggest fan of night elves. I know lore-wise, it's the only thing that makes sense, but of elves themselves, blood elves, night elves, being the only races that can become demon hunters. But I am a big fan of them making gnomes able to become hunters, which is going to be great. I've already come up with a name for a gnome hunter that I'm going to level. I'm not going to race change my main hunter because he's a dwarf, and dwarves will always be in my heart. I love dwarves. But I'm going to create a name hunter and name it Kibble. Just because for most pets for a hunter, gnomes are bite-sized morsels. So pretty funny. Anyway, again, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment. I hope you have an awesome time in Legion. And for now, I'll say salute. See ya.